Power is often misunderstood. Many people associate power with status, attention, loud confidence, or the ability to dominate a room. They imagine powerful individuals as those who constantly prove themselves, demand recognition, or control every situation they enter. But real power rarely looks like that. In fact, some of the most powerful people are the ones who attract the least attention. One of the quietest yet most powerful signs of personal strength is the ability to remain calm when others lose control. Most people think power is about being the loudest voice in the room, winning every argument, or dominating every situation. In reality, true power often appears in the opposite form. It appears through self-control, emotional stability, and the ability to stay grounded when pressure begins to rise. Anyone can remain calm when everything is going well. The real test comes when circumstances become difficult, unexpected, or emotionally charged. This is the moment when most people react automatically. They become defensive, frustrated, impatient, or overwhelmed. Their emotions begin making decisions for them. A secretly powerful person operates differently. They may feel the same emotions as everyone else, but they do not allow those emotions to take control of their behavior. Remaining calm under pressure is not a sign of weakness or passivity. It is a sign of discipline. It shows that a person has developed enough self-awareness to create space between what they feel and how they respond. Instead of reacting immediately, they observe. They think. They evaluate the situation before deciding what action to take. This ability often gives them an advantage because clear thinking becomes possible when emotions are managed effectively. People naturally notice this quality even if they cannot explain it. In moments of uncertainty, individuals tend to trust those who appear stable. When emotions are running high, the calm person becomes a source of confidence and direction. Their presence communicates that the situation can be handled without panic. This creates influence without the need for authority or control. Calmness also protects a person from manipulation. Individuals who react impulsively are easier to influence because their emotions can be triggered and redirected. Someone who remains composed is much harder to control. They make decisions based on observation rather than immediate emotional pressure. This gives them a level of independence that many people never develop. Over time, this emotional stability becomes a foundation for success in relationships, work, and personal growth. Problems are approached more logically, conflicts are handled more effectively, decisions become more intentional. While others may become trapped in cycles of emotional reaction, the secretly powerful person continues moving forward with clarity. The most impressive part of this strength is that it rarely draws attention to itself. There are no dramatic displays, no need for recognition, and no desire to prove anything. The power exists quietly in the ability to stay centered when everything around them becomes chaotic. And in a world where emotional reactions often dominate behavior, the person who can remain calm possesses a form of strength that is far more powerful than most people realize. Another quiet sign that you are secretly powerful is that you do not rely on constant validation from other people. Many individuals spend a large part of their lives seeking approval. They want reassurance that they are doing well, making the right choices, or being accepted by those around them. While feedback and support can be valuable, depending on them for self-worth creates a fragile foundation. When approval becomes the source of confidence, confidence disappears whenever approval is absent. A secretly powerful person develops a different relationship with validation. They appreciate encouragement, but they do not require it to continue moving forward. Their sense of value comes from internal standards rather than external opinions. They know who they are, what they believe, and what they are working toward. Because of this, they are less affected by praise and less discouraged by criticism. This does not mean they ignore other people's perspectives. In fact, they often listen carefully and remain open to learning. The difference is that they do not allow every opinion to define them. They understand that approval can change depending on circumstances, trends, or personal preferences. What one person admires, another person may criticize. If identity is built entirely on outside reactions, it becomes unstable and constantly shifting. People who do not depend on validation often appear confident without trying to be. They are comfortable making decisions that others may not understand. They can pursue goals that receive little recognition because their motivation comes from purpose rather than applause. They do not need everyone to agree with them before taking action. This quality becomes especially important during difficult periods. There are times when growth happens in private, when progress is invisible, and when results take longer than expected. Many people quit during these moments because they are not receiving immediate encouragement. A secretly powerful person continues anyway. They trust the process even when no one is watching. Freedom from validation also creates authenticity. When approval is no longer the primary goal, people become more honest about who they are. They stop adjusting their personality to fit every situation. They become less concerned with impressing others and more focused on living according to their values. Over time, this independence creates a strong sense of stability. Success feels meaningful because it is earned, not performed. Decisions become clearer because they are guided by conviction rather than popularity. Relationships become healthier because they are based on genuine connection instead of constant approval seeking. The ability to stand confidently without needing continuous validation is one of the strongest forms of quiet power. It allows a person to remain focused, authentic, and resilient regardless of changing opinions. While many people look outward for permission to believe in themselves, the secretly powerful individual learns to trust their own judgment and continue moving forward with confidence. A powerful sign that often goes unnoticed is when people naturally reveal more to you than they originally intended. This ability is not about manipulation, persuasion, or special techniques. It comes from a combination of presence, observation, and the ability to make others feel understood. Secretly powerful people often create an environment where others feel comfortable lowering their guard without even realizing it. Most people spend conversations thinking about what they are going to say next. They focus on expressing their opinions, telling their stories, or finding ways to impress the people around them. A quietly powerful person often does the opposite. They listen carefully. They pay attention not only to words but also to emotions, tone, and subtle changes in behavior. This level of attention makes others feel genuinely heard. When people feel heard, they naturally become more open. They begin sharing thoughts, experiences, and feelings they might not normally discuss. Sometimes they reveal personal concerns. Sometimes they expose their motivations, fears, or insecurities without intending to. This happens because trust often develops in environments where judgment is absent and attention is genuine. Secretly powerful individuals understand that listening is more valuable than constantly speaking. They recognize that information is one of the most important resources in human interaction. While others rush to fill silence, they allow space for conversations to develop naturally. This patience encourages people to continue talking and often leads to deeper understanding. Another reason people reveal so much to them is that they remain emotionally stable. They do not react dramatically to every statement they hear. Because they stay calm and composed, others feel safer expressing themselves honestly. They do not fear immediate criticism, interruption, or emotional overreaction. This creates a sense of comfort that encourages openness. Over time, this ability provides tremendous insight into human behavior. Quietly powerful people learn what motivates others, what concerns them, and what they truly value. They understand that what people say about themselves is important, but what they reveal unintentionally is often even more meaningful. These observations help them navigate relationships with greater awareness and understanding. This quality also strengthens personal influence. People are naturally drawn toward individuals who make them feel understood. They remember conversations where they felt respected and genuinely listened to. As a result, trust often grows around the quietly powerful person without them actively seeking it. The ability to make others feel comfortable enough to reveal their true thoughts is not loud or obvious. It does not attract immediate attention. Yet it is one of the strongest forms of influence a person can possess. In a world where many people want to be heard, the person who truly listens often becomes the one who understands the most, and therefore holds the greatest quiet power. One of the quietest signs of hidden power is that your actions influence people more than your words. Many individuals spend a great deal of time trying to convince others through explanations, promises, and arguments. They believe influence comes from speaking louder, talking longer, or finding the perfect words. While communication is important, real influence is usually created through consistent behavior rather than verbal persuasion. People pay attention to what you do far more than they pay attention to what you say. Words can inspire for a moment, but actions create lasting impressions. When someone consistently demonstrates discipline, integrity, reliability, and self-control, others begin to notice. They may not mention it directly, but they observe the pattern. Over time, that pattern becomes a source of credibility. Secretly powerful people understand this principle. They do not feel the need to announce every goal. justify every decision, or explain every intention. Instead, they focus on results. They allow their behavior to communicate their values. When they make a commitment, they follow through. When they face difficulties, they continue moving forward. Their consistency becomes more convincing than any speech could ever be. This kind of influence works because people naturally trust evidence more than promises. Anyone can claim to be dependable, but dependability is proven through repeated action. Anyone can claim to be strong, but strength is revealed through behavior during difficult moments. Quietly powerful individuals understand that reputation is built over time through what they repeatedly do, not through what they repeatedly say. Another reason actions carry so much influence is that they create emotional impact. People remember experiences more than explanations. They remember who remained calm during pressure, who kept their word when it was difficult, and who acted with integrity when nobody was watching. These moments leave lasting impressions because they reveal character. The secretly powerful person often becomes a source of inspiration without actively trying to inspire anyone. Others begin observing their habits, mindset, and decisions. Influence develops naturally because consistency attracts respect. There is no need for constant self-promotion when behavior already provides proof. This approach also creates freedom. When actions speak for themselves, there is less need to seek approval or defend every choice. The focus remains on growth, discipline, and personal standards rather than public recognition. Energy is invested in becoming better instead of appearing better. Over time, this quiet influence becomes one of the strongest forms of power a person can possess. It affects relationships, opportunities, and personal credibility. While words may capture attention temporarily, actions shape perception permanently. The person whose behavior consistently reflects their values gains a level of trust and respect that cannot be achieved through conversation alone. That is why some of the most influential people are not the loudest voices in the room. They are the individuals whose actions consistently communicate strength, integrity, and purpose. One of the strongest signs that you are secretly powerful is that you focus more on growth than on proving yourself. Many people spend a significant portion of their lives trying to convince others of their value. They seek recognition, comparison, and validation as evidence that they are successful, intelligent, or capable. While there is nothing wrong with wanting appreciation, constantly trying to prove yourself can become a distraction from actual progress. A quietly powerful person approaches life differently. Instead of asking, "How can I impress people?" they ask, "How can I improve?" Their attention is directed toward development rather than appearance. They understand that real confidence comes from competence, and competence is built through consistent effort over time. Because of this mindset, they are less concerned with competition. They do not measure their worth solely by comparing themselves to others. They recognize that someone will always be ahead in one area and behind in another. Rather than becoming trapped in comparison, they focus on becoming better than they were yesterday. This creates a healthier and more sustainable form of motivation. Growth-focused individuals are also more comfortable with mistakes. They understand that setbacks are part of learning. While others may fear failure because it threatens their image, the secretly powerful person views failure as information. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to gain experience, develop skill, and strengthen resilience. This perspective allows them to continue progressing even when success is not immediate. Another important characteristic is patience. People who are focused on proving themselves often want quick results because recognition feels urgent. Those focused on growth understand that meaningful improvement takes time. They are willing to work quietly without immediate rewards because they trust the long-term process. They know that strong foundations are built gradually. This mindset also creates emotional stability. When self-worth is tied to growth rather than public approval, criticism becomes easier to handle. Feedback is viewed as useful information instead of a personal attack. Likewise, praise is appreciated but does not become necessary for motivation. Their direction comes from internal goals rather than external reactions. Over time, this commitment to growth creates a powerful advantage. Skills improve, confidence deepens, knowledge expands. While others may spend years trying to appear successful, the growth-focused person spends those same years becoming successful. The difference becomes visible through results rather than announcements. The most powerful aspect of this trait is that it often develops quietly. There are no dramatic displays and no constant need for attention. Progress happens behind the scenes, one decision at a time. Yet those small improvements eventually create extraordinary outcomes. The person who focuses on growth instead of proving themselves develops a level of strength that cannot be taken away by criticism, comparison, or changing opinions. Their confidence is rooted in continuous improvement, and that is one of the clearest signs of genuine, lasting power.